What if I tell you there are two islands which are only 35 kilometers apart, but the biodiversity between them is more than the biodiversity between Britain and Japan? These islands are separated by an invisible line. Not only animals, birds also do not cross this line. Some islands present on same side of the line are farther away from each other than on the opposite side of the line. Then why these animals or birds do not cross them? The origin can be traced back to the Ice Age and Pleistocene era. This line was discovered by a man down with malaria and fever. Sadly, the line was approved only half century after his death. Join me in this journey as we trace the Wallace Line. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Everything with Dr. James. Today we are going to be dealing with the Wallace Line. To know more about the Wallace Line, we need to know about a man known as Alfred Russel Wallace. He was born in the year 1823 in Wales. Due to financial constraints, his education was stopped around the age of 6. In his house, he had a library, so he educated himself in that library only. His father was a surveyor, so he had access to lot of maps and he studied them thoroughly. Around that time, the catching of rare insects and animals and bringing them back to England was very famous and also a source of good money. So Alfred Russel Wallace was interested in that. He travelled around the Malay archipelago between 1852 to 1864. Initially, he wanted to land in an island called Sulawesi, but he landed in Bali. When he went to Bali, he found the animals present there were tigers, elephants, rhinoceros. The birds which were present were the Javanese three woodpeckers, the yellow-headed weavers and coppersmith barbets. Then he travelled only 35 kilometers to another island called Lombok. There he found that it was a world apart. These animals were not present there. The animals which were found there were kangaroos, monitor lizards, koala and birds of paradise. One other interesting fact he noted was, okay, animals cannot swim, they cannot cross this strait, currents and all that we can say. But why were birds not crossing it? One more thing he found out that the birds present on either side of the islands were non-migratory birds whose flight path cannot cover 35 kilometers. This also intrigued him to find out what happened. Sadly, during that time, he was down with fever and malaria. During that time, he began to think, is there a line which is separating these two islands? And he proposed the idea that these islands were previously connected to Asia and Australia respectively. That is, Bali was initially connected to Asia and during the Ice Age it got separated from them, and the island of Lombok was attached to Australia and they got separated from them, and he proposed the Wallace Line. This Wallace Line was traced between Bali and Lombok and the islands of Borneo and Sulawesi. The origin of these islands can be traced back to around 360 million years ago. During that time, Bali was connected to Asia and the island of Lombok was connected to Australia. During the intercontinental shift, when Gondwana separated from the other parts of the world, what happened was these islands also got separated. During the Ice Age, the depth of the oceans prevented these animals from moving from one island to the other. The strong water currents also prevented the aquatic animals to shift from one area to the other. The animals found in Bali were similar to the animals which were found in Asia, whereas the animals which were present in Lombok were similar to the animals which were present in Australia, Papua New Guinea. This intrigued him further. Now this concept of Wallace Line was formed. Our Wallace sent this theory to Darwin, who approved it also, but it did not see the light of the day. The Wallace Line was proposed by a person named Huxley, but it was not accepted by scientists around that time. It was in the 1960s when the concept of tectonic plates came in that this theory came into force. So, what are tectonic plates? Tectonic plates are massive, irregularly shaped slabs which are of solid rock that make up the Earth's outer layer lithosphere. These tectonic plates are responsible for the earthquakes, volcanoes, and continental drift also. As in this case, we can see that how our Bali has separated from Asia and Lombok has separated from Australia. In this Malay archipelago, there are around 4 tectonic plates. That is the reason why this area sees a lot of seismic activity. Also, a lot of volcanoes are found, and this animal difference and biodiversity can also be said because of this line only. In addition to the Wallace line, there is a line which is called as the Weber line also. This Weber line is situated between the islands of the Sulawesi and the Maluku Islands. Between the lines of Wallace and Weber lies a region called Wallacea. This Wallacea was never attached to any of these continents, either to Asia or to Australia, and they lie as a transition zone between this Wallace and the Weber line. In summary, the Wallace line is an imaginary biogeographic line separating the islands which were once attached to Asia and the islands which were once attached to Australia, and due to tectonic plate shifts, these islands were separated from their respective continents and they have become separate islands now. The animals which are present in one side are not present in the other side, and the biodiversity is more different than continents which are thousands of kilometers apart. Do like, share and subscribe me for more interesting videos like this.